Second Verse is sponsored by Attitude Creativity. Many indie music artists don't have a website that grows their audience and reflects who they are, so they get lost in the noise of streaming. Marketing and brand messaging with Attitude Creativity helps boost your brand and build a site that hits all the right notes. You want to be an artist who stands out from the crowd, and to do that, you need your music to be heard. If your website doesn't reflect who you are or make an impact, you feel like a singer who's been handed a pair of drumsticks instead of a mic. You deserve a website and brand messaging you can be proud of, and that doesn't take time away from your music. As an artist like you, I understand how overwhelming websites and marketing can be. And that's why, putting on my other creative hat, I put my decades of marketing and development experience to work for you. You'll no longer have to apologize for your website. You'll look and feel like a professional with a custom story branded website you can be proud of. And right now, you can get a head start with my free downloadable EPK blueprint and start building your electronic press kit to promote your music. Head to attitudecreativity.com/blueprint to get your copy. That's Attitude, ATTITUDE, creativity.com/blueprint. Most artists don't struggle with talent. They struggle with momentum. It's not a lack of creativity. It's that we wait for the perfect time, the perfect setup, the perfect confidence. And that time isn't guaranteed. So welcome back to Second Verse, the podcast lifting up indie artists and musicians finding their next chapter in music. I'm your host, Becky Boyland, and today I'm running headlong into the classic musician's roadblock, confidence. And this might sound a little self-serving, but it would help my confidence if you would like, subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other artists. But truly, I believe it will help their confidence too. And be sure to stay to the end as I share how confidence connects to the ecosystem we've been talking about in the last couple episodes. Now, as a songwriter, I had written mostly solo for a long time. I had a few Zoom co-writes under my belt, but hadn't yet been in a physical room with, strangers, chasing a song idea and bringing it to life. But then an opportunity popped up for me to travel to the Scottish wilderness and spend a week co-writing. I was equal parts excited and terrified, but I did it. I signed up. I wondered for a while if I was crazy, but I knew I needed to go. And it was an incredible experience that still informs how I write songs, solo or in a co-write. It just took one small, scary step, signing up. After that, a few bigger and scarier steps, of course, but it started simple. And those small, simple steps can snowball into confidence. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's a side effect of taking small steps, kind of like gathering data that keeps showing you that you can do this. Let's talk a bit more about how confidence and action work hand in hand. We all know that kid we grew up with who just had no fear. They seemed untouchable. They tried that crazy trick on the playground. They sassed the teacher. And they were probably the first to start dating. We would say they had confidence, but it probably was more arrogant. Confidence isn't really innate. In fact, it's more of a result of the evidence at hand. So if you want to prove to yourself that you can do something, that you can build your creative life, then you prove it a little bit at a time with each small action you take. If we keep thinking of confidence as a feeling, we'll wait until we feel confident before taking action. But that's a recipe for being stuck. So I want to look back at a few of my guests who took simple steps that led to bigger steps, which then resulted in confidence they didn't start out with. Earlier this season, I talked to Ben Kintish, a cantor and chaplain who wrote a comedy musical about hospice. Early in his journey, Ben knew he didn't have experience songwriting, but he stepped out and started co-writing, knowing that he could learn a lot by collaborating. Years later, his songwriting resulted in a full musical, but He knew he didn't have producing experience, yet he stepped out anyway and started building support for his show, which has now been staged around the country. Last season, I talked with Kelly Hastings, known for competing on the UK and Welsh versions of The Voice. As her kids were growing up, she knew she wanted to reclaim her music. Auditioning for The Voice UK was scary, but she stepped out and she did it. Songwriting coach Greg Watts, another season 1 guest, didn't want to work in banking forever, so he gave himself a deadline to see if he could make it in music. And then he gave himself just a little more time, and it paid off. He's now had a long career in music publishing and mentoring aspiring songwriters. He even just finished his first book. Then my guest, Chris Evans, asked himself what he wanted to do when it came time to retire from software development. He knew he'd have a lot of good years ahead of him and wanted to not only make it count, but make it fun. In music, of course. So before retiring, he started the process of learning how to produce music. He built out a professional home studio, and he continued to learn and collaborate. Each step prepared him to confidently get to work in his studio as soon as he retired. Like these guests and many more, taking small steps helped them see clearly not only what they wanted to do, but that they could actually do it. Action generates clarity. Clarity builds confidence. So here's a quick challenge. Think about one area of your music, whether you consider it a hobby or a career, that feels intimidating. One area that feels intimidating. What's one tiny action you could take this week? How then do you take small steps and build on them to really develop your confidence? You do that by moving beyond single isolated steps to micro habits. A micro habit is taking one or more of those small steps and incorporating them into your regular routine. Then they compound to keep you moving toward your goals. Here are some practical micro goals to get music into your routine. Here's one. Block out 10-minute creativity windows, like songwriting sprints, lyric rewrites, sound exploration. Or schedule one co-write per quarter, virtual or in person. Accountability accelerates progress. How about share a work in progress snippet? Post 15 seconds of a demo or a lyric idea on social media once a month or even once a week. Maybe submit to one playlist or blog each month, because small exposure still counts. Then add one skill to your toolbox each quarter or each month, like a mixing tutorial, DAW shortcut, or vocal warm-up method. Maybe you could join or start one artist accountability group chat, even a group text or Slack channel to share goals and wins. And then update your artist bio or EPK once a quarter. Keep it current because that reinforces momentum and professionalism. And finally, give back once a year. Collaborate with or mentor a newer artist. It reignites purpose and creativity. If you're anything like me, as soon as you heard a list coming, you thought, I'm out. It's too overwhelming to add something else on my plate. What are you doing to me, Becky? Most of us have too many things on our plates. But if we want to make progress on the music we say we care so much about, sometimes some other habits and routines need to be moved off the plate and onto the shelf or out of your life entirely. You probably have a good idea about some of the things that take up too much of your time and energy, but don't fill you up. So that's a hard conversation to have with yourself, but you're not giving up something. You're making room for something you value more. But time isn't the only reason you might feel some resistance cropping up. Because, of course, we're talking about confidence. And two big confidence busters would love to steal your progress. Confidence buster number 1, comparison. You want to see what other artists are doing, so you check out their socials. Unfortunately, we scroll through everyone's highlight reels and call it research, while falling into the comparison trap. But the truth is, those are just the things they want you to see. And you'll never know the full journey that got them to the highlights. How do you get your own highlights that build your confidence? Well, small steps, over and over. Confidence buster number 2, perfectionism disguised as preparation. Ever fall into that perfectionism trap when finishing a song? Or should I say, when you should be finishing a song? I think it's appropriate that we use the term release when putting out a song because we sometimes need to let it go. The more we polish the idea, the less likely we are to release it. Nothing will ever be perfect. But the more time you spend being stuck, the more your confidence can slip away. I once was trying to finish up a track that just kept confounding me. I knew the sound I wanted, and somewhere I had taken a wrong turn, but I finally thought it was good enough to release. And so I did. And when I shared it, it was always well received, but listening back, there was always something that just bugged me. So I revisited the original files. I finally figured out how to dial in the sound, and I exported the song. I re-released it through my distributor, essentially overwriting the old version. So yes, some people heard it when it was less than perfect, but by releasing it anyway, I had to move faster and make decisions. And then I took a different set of small steps to actually make it better. So did I make a mistake? Or worse, did I fail? No, I grew and I learned. It wasn't failing. It was proof of progress. And I bet you have songs that you listen back to and recognize how far you've come. Maybe some of those songs are even worth revisiting to make them better. But even if you leave them as they are, you know you're further down the road than when they were put out in the world. In a moment, I want to draw a connection between confidence and the ecosystem we've been talking about in the last couple episodes, particularly with people. But first, I'd like to invite you to download my free checklist to help you make big progress with small steps. That checklist is the Creative Momentum Map, 7 small actions to reignite your music. And you can find that at secondversepod.com/confidence. Confidence isn't just about temporary feels. As a musician, there's no doubt that surrounding yourself with other creatives and supporters will help to boost your true confidence, trusting that you have something powerful to offer. Creative confidence can grow faster in community, especially with the right support. When you co-write and have someone depending on you, expecting you to show up and be part of something amazing, you can't help but gain confidence once that finished song is on the page. That song says, yes, you can do this. Yes, you are a songwriter. Your confidence also expands when you're surrounded by people who believe in the music career you're building. From those who listen to your music to joining your team, their investment of time, energy, and even resources is proof you are making an impact. If you haven't started building community, start reaching out to other artists similar to you. Perhaps they would want to be accountability partners. Check out or create a local writing group. Use social media or an email newsletter to show your behind-the-scenes progress so that your audience can follow your journey and connect more deeply. Now, for those of you who are in your own second verse, you can take confidence from what you've already accomplished and the relationships you've made along the way. If music is your second act or your comeback, you already know how to do hard things. You've lived some life. Let that experience be your advantage. As I said at the beginning, confidence isn't a personality trait. It's the result of taking small steps over time that prove to yourself you can do it. In fact, confidence follows action. Small steps usually go further than big plans, and community fuels courage. So the next time you catch yourself saying, someday, trade it for today I'll just, and fill in one small thing. Remember to grab my downloadable checklist, Creative Momentum Map, 7 small actions to reignite your music at secondversepod.com/confidence. And if this episode helped you breathe easier about your creative journey, share it with another artist who might need a confidence boost. Until next time, keep chasing your second verse. Now stay tuned to hear my song, You Got Me, co-written with Christina Casella.
When you don't know where to run to and you start to feel afraid, know that I am right here with you. That will never change. So I want you to breathe easy, sleep sweet tonight, because the